Good evening and welcome to the October 6th legislative session of the Salisbury City Council. In the event of an emergency, please remain calm and exit through the double doors you came in, make a right, and proceed to the stairwell. If the hallway is blocked, then exit to the left, around the corner, and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator and let us know if you need any assistance. At this time, we ask everyone to please silence your cell phones, and we'll ask Council Vice President to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, me?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In lieu of our city invocation, we ask that we take a combined moment of silence. Thank you. This time we'll pivot to our clerk of courts and administration for the swearing in of our new city administrator, Mr. Nicholas W. Rice. Mr. Bill? Or clerk.
It's good for the cameras.
I think they're going to pivot it in just a moment. Oh. There we are. Yes.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Rice,
Do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
City Administrator for the City of Salisbury,
City Administrator for the City of Salisbury,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Left-handed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to say any words? And I know that Mr. Rice has his family here. Any words and any words from administration?
Yeah, I'm just super glad he's in the chair, and we're excited to get going, and had a good working day today, and looking forward to working together.
Absolutely. And thank you. Yes, day one, nothing like starting it with a council meeting. So.
We're trying to run your way.
It's been a long day, but I'm excited to get started.
Yes.
Well, can we take pictures of you and your family together? We'd love to
Yeah.
see that.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, especially your boys. Oh,
Maverick.
Oh.
Thank you, Sharon. Just a minute.
Right. Thank you and welcome, Nick. We'll try not to run you away today. We'll be gentle today. Yeah, tomorrow, yes. Perfect.
You're welcome.
All right, we will stick with administration and move to a mayoral proclamation. So, Mr. Mayor, we'll pivot to you.
Gotta get these. All right. Got a proclamation for Fire Prevention Week. Chief? Whereas the city of Salisbury is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in the city of Salisbury and visiting, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduce unique fire risk, and whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, and toys, are all powered by lithium-ion batteries, which is misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risks in the home and community. And whereas the city of Salisbury first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety, education, and community outreach. And whereas 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, lithium-ion batteries in your home, serves to remind us of the importance of using charging and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce fires in homes and communities. Now, therefore, I, Randolph J. Taylor, Mayor of the City of Salisbury, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week. Let's get it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Chief or Mr. Kramer, any words on this week, or what would this mean?
No, just, I brought the whole team here today. I don't know, you guys get to see me.
Yeah,
a little
yes,
bit. But this is the team. They're the best in the business. They make it happen every day. And for us, every week is Fire Prevention Week.
Yes.
So we just thank you guys for your support over the years. Easy to work for the city of Salisbury. And when you give me a team like this, it's easy to keep the city safe. So thank you guys.
Thank you. It's commendable. We see the numbers and we see how busy you all are. So for this to be a 4-person crew, I think we need to give kudos to you. So thank you all for the work you do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Of course.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, folks. This time we'll move to presentation and adoption of tonight's legislative agenda. Ms. English, would you mind reviewing the legislative agenda?
Sure. So on the agenda this evening, we have an award a bid. We have 2 resolutions and 2 ordinances. One is for second reading and one is for first reading, public comment, and then adjournment and work session.
Thank you, Ms. English. I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the legislative agenda as presented.
So second?
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. All right, we will bring Mr. Lowe up for the award of bid. The consent agenda. I will pivot back to the consent agenda. It's not on my sheet here. I will pivot back. Yes, no worries. No, it's okay. You're already here. We'll keep you.
I'll just hang out.
All right, I will entertain a motion in a second to approve the award of bid for reading.
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Lowe?
I got the memo on the shirt, by the way.
You,
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
So on this evening's award of bids, I just have one item. This is ITB 26-106, Lot 16 pedestrian bridge repairs. The Department of Procurement seeks award of bid approval from the Salisbury City Council for the solicitation as defined herein. The city followed required bidding practices as defined by the City of Salisbury's Charter and Municipal Code of Ordinances, and publicly posted the solicitations for the city's competitively bid procurements. on the City of Salisbury's procurement portal, Planet Bids, and the State of Maryland's website, eMaryland Marketplace Advantage. This solicitation is for the Department of Infrastructure and Development. This bridge is located between the amphitheater and Lot 16. The scope of work involves structural restoration of the steel members and coating, along with redecking the surface. We released bids in late July, opened bids in very early September. We had a total of 7 bids, 5 were responsive. The lowest price responsive and responsible vendor is Bay Coastal Contracting LLC. Total award $117,417 in the GL accounts noted in your packet.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. I know that the public and folks will be happy to see this going. It's been
Yeah.
ordered for some time, so thank you all the parties that are making this and made this happen. Council, any questions regarding the Lot 16 pedestrian bridge? Okay.
Thank you.
Hearing none. All those in favor of approving award of bid ITB 26-107, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you.
All right, this time, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Ms. English?
My apologies, we definitely don't want to skip this one.
Yes.
On the consent agenda, we have meeting minutes for May the 12th, 2025, work session, May the 19th, 2025, legislative and work session, and we have June the 2nd, special meeting minutes, June the 9th, 2025, legislative session minutes. And we also have one manufacturing exemption, Delmarva Printing and Design, and that is for 2024.
Thank you. Council, any questions regarding the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye. Thank you, Ms. English. All right, now we will pivot to the regularly scheduled program. I will entertain a motion in a second to approve resolution number 3430.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. English?
Does not have the numbers on it, my apologies. It's been a little bit of a crazy day today, so I'm seeing there's just a few errors in here. Resolution number 3430 is to appoint Harvey Evans to the Historic District Commission for term ending October 2028.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. I will entertain a motion in a second to approve resolution number 3431.
So moved. Second.
Resolution number 3431 is to reappoint, apologize if I say it incorrectly, Thashana McKinney to the Youth Development Advisory Committee, term ending October 2028.
All those in favor of approving resolution number 3431, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. Thank you to you both, to I think it's Tashana, and to Mr. Evans for rejoining and joining your respective commissions. Thank you, folks, for your service. We'll pivot to our ordinances for this evening. I will entertain a motion in a second to approve ordinance number 2956 for second reading.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ordinance number 2956. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury amending Title 15 of the Salisbury City Code entitled Buildings and Construction to add the adoption of and reference to the International Property Maintenance Code. This is before you tonight for second reading. There's been no changes or amendments.
Thank you, Ms. Boucher. All those in favor of approving ordinance number 2956, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. I will entertain a motion in a second to approve ordinance number 2957 for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance number 2957, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to correct ordinance 2883, approving a budget amendment to the city's general capital project fund to provide additional funds for the Truett Street Community Center expansion, before you tonight for first reading.
Thank you, Ms. Boucher. All those in favor of approving ordinance number 2957, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the chair votes aye. Thank you, Ms. Bochet.
You're welcome.
Yes, I acknowledged. So, Mr. Evans, yes, I said, your name, but I think some council members didn't hear me. I just want a special acknowledgement. Thank you for joining the Historic Commission. I'm not sure if you heard me earlier. Yes. Oh. Yes. All right. Thank you all for the official business. At this time, we pivot to our public comments portion of the agenda. Those wishing to speak may enter the podium. Please state your name, and if you are a city resident or if you are representing an organization, and you have 3 minutes to speak on any topic.
Good evening. Joe Schiaffino, Salisbury. Two road issues. One, Councilwoman DeShiel I know has been working on the South Pinehurst Avenue. There's a speed sign out. Every day I see cars. They got to be doing 50, flying. It's just a straightaway, and I would really like to see speed bumps. Again, they have it on College Avenue. South Pinehurst is where all the cars line up to drop kids off and to pick them up in the afternoon. And they're literally around the corner on Riverside Drive. And they start lining up a half hour before. And I noticed that if you're coming in the opposite direction of the radar, it doesn't register. Only if you're going in that direction. So again, I just want to bring it to your attention. It's something that, again, I know Councilwoman DeShiel, they've got the radar there for a second time, and I'm hoping it's showing supporting the need for speed bumps. Just the second issue, paving schedule. Russell Avenue and North Pinehurst it looks like it's been hit by a bomb. It's really bad, and it needs to be addressed. And again, I don't know if the city has a schedule, maintenance schedule, like rotation that you look at, but if someone goes out, and again, I'm sure Councilwoman DeShiel is familiar with that area. It needs attention. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Robert Taylor, Salisbury. A couple things. Here we go again, another meeting, another closed session on lawsuits. This time at 5:30, it was on the Marina Landing case that's pending in the federal court. About a month ago, the judge in that case dismissed count one. There are 2 counts, dismissed one of them. That was the count under the federal Constitution and civil rights laws regarding alleged deprivation of property rights. That's been dismissed from the case. If that was part of the discussion, there's absolutely no reason that couldn't have been held in open session. It's a matter of public record. These lawsuits, they all have something in common, and that is they were all about downtown development that was fomented by the former mayor, Day, that frankly, and I'll go back to the Marina Landing case, count 2, the one that's left, is under the city's zoning law, essentially saying the developer thinks he's entitled to building permits, the city thinks no. I think if we take a good look at the zoning code, I have, and I've come to the conclusion that there's a pretty good chance that he hasn't complied with the zoning code. If that's the case, the whole case can be dismissed. I think that needs to be looked into, and maybe that will put an end to that one. But all of these cases have something in common, and they were fomented and permitted by the former Planning and Zoning Commission. In my 50-some years of practice, much of which has been involved with zoning and development, it's the worst planning commission I've ever seen in the last 8 or so years. We're going to have our own commission now. Let's do a clean start. Let's let anybody that was on the old commission be gone. really need people who will be independent. That commission was not. I know you're going to talk about this in another closed session tonight, so please bear this in mind. We really need to have people who are not, don't have 1 feet, in some cases 2 feet, involved with development and developers. So you have a chance to make a clean start. Let's do it. My last 30 seconds, I'm going to reiterate, let's get going on affordable housing. Let's get a task force going and do something and get that in place before we do any more subdivision approvals or annexations. Now's the time to get going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you. My name is Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court, City of Salisbury. I'm going to echo Mr. Taylor's comments and kind of go a little bit deeper on what he's saying. I think that while we are all living in a secular society and like trying to achieve some kind of value neutrality or objectivity is often an aim in our society, it is a delusional one. We cannot choose things unless we determine our values. And so one of the things that I think people are not clear about is that public monies are for the public's interest, not for private development. And you can conflate private interest with a outcome that can theoretically, benefit the public, but that's not actually using what those public monies are for. I think our taxpayer money needs to be more earnestly and sincerely allocated to things. I think that appropriate expenditures, investment into community, allocating to developers and then claiming that their private interest is going to have a public benefit is not it. That's why they're doing private sector business in the first place. Their whole reason why they have a legal market is that there's a benefit to all of us by them just doing business. They already have that benefit. They do not need public monies. That is wholly inappropriate. And then part of the reason why they are it has been suggested by prior administration, Jake Day, that we waive connect fees and we help these developers is because they frankly cannot get conventional financing. They have, for whatever reason, whether they stretched their business prospects too thin, their credit is not that good, they've overextended themselves, happens all the time. We don't need to assess it and judge people in that aspect, but it is wholly inappropriate. If they cannot get financing for, say, a parking garage, that the city would take out a bond to protect private interest. That's ridiculous and wholly inappropriate, very unethical. And frankly, again, echoing what Mr. Taylor said, it's like we need to be focused on the public's money, the taxpayer money going to the public's interest, and it needs to be a direct relation. It cannot be a down the line one day it gets better kind of rationale. I've just heard that kind of slippery slope argument so much, So I just wanted to rearticulate that and express that, that is what is appropriate. It is wholly inappropriate for us to spend too much money propping up failing businesses. And if people, had the ability to develop on that land, they'd be able to make it worth more, they'd be able to insure it for more, and they'd be able to make more money. So if they didn't develop it, it means they don't have the means. Because what is in their interest is to develop the land. At the end of the day, that 10 grand or to 50 grand that they spend on whatever the lot in question is, if they had developed it, it'd be worth millions now and insured for more, and they would have assets, and then their company would be worth more money. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Monica Brooks. I'm president of Wacomico County and AACP, and I'm also a resident of Wacomico County, and I live in Salisbury. First, I want to say to the mayor, last time I didn't remember your last name, didn't I?
Yeah, what's the matter with
But no, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming to our Freedom Fund Gala, for supporting us, and I appreciate that.
Good,
Thank
do
you.
it. Gotta do it.
So I did want to, I'm going to kind of chime in. As a construction person, what I want to say for the city, I know that we've had some issues, even with, considering raising taxes and things to bring in more funding. I had a long conversation with the people in Fruitland, and they have so much development going, and they have not given a kickback at all. Not a one. So perhaps maybe we can just have a chat, municipality on municipality, and see how it gets done. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you something. Some of these people that are these developers, they are rolling. They have made tons of money here. And if we actually made a grid, a spreadsheet of how many of these projects we have in this city and who's done them and how few names of diverse names there are, that's a problem. I think that we need to spread the wealth. Spread the wealth. At the same time, there should be a desire for all the benefits that we have gotten, right? So if you're talking about someone who's gotten so many benefits from, getting all these accesses to things, and let's not forget about who's building the new clinics for Tidal Health. Okay, all of these benefits that they're getting, give something back. You're not losing anything. So I think we need to be very specific and deliberate. I want there to be affordable housing and access to more housing, or even some of the times that you all have, I'm not saying you all specifically, but I mean the city has given away lots or donated lots, or $1 here and all of those kind of things. Perhaps we can keep some of that, and maybe we put up a whole new tiny village, put up 60, 70 homes. Some of these unhoused people, because now we're making being homeless illegal. But we're creating situations, I'm not saying you all specifically, I'm saying this world is creating situations where more people are becoming unhoused, and everything is not just because of something they did or did not do. But lastly, I want to just continue to say, please do not support 287G. Many reasons for that. And the last thing I will say, as I told the county, consider the liability that it could also bring to you. Have a conversation with your attorney for the city.
Thank you.
Good evening, Joe Venosa, Salisbury. I want to start by piggybacking off what Ms. Brooks stated about 287G. It's obvious last meeting, there's a lot of grandstanding on all sides about the issue and about the concerns. My simple, humble suggestion, watch or come to this room tomorrow night and listen to the council meeting, because they will talk in depth about what is actually in the briefing book and what this agreement is. As was reported on Open Agenda today, and again, plug in for them because they actually researched it, they discovered, if you read the briefing book, read it, that this whole ordeal, this sleight of hand by Executive Giordano, has actually nothing to do with the sheriff's office or the city police. It's about the Department of Corrections. She's trying to get the council to basically sign away their souls on this agreement, which I think is terrible for the community. And more importantly, to her point, it puts the county and by extension the city at tremendous financial liability, and frankly puts our Department of Corrections officers' lives at risk. It's a disgraceful decision, but you have a responsibility, whether you agree or not, to actually know the facts. And I have been incredibly disappointed that all of you, it seems, have failed in that requirement. So please, come to the meeting tomorrow, or at least watch it, so that when you talk about something, you have information. Second thing, with regard to the development issue, again, as we reported on Open Agenda and as was discussed today, it's very clear that the city is going to be on the losing end of several lawsuits. This is yet another reminder why, in future issues, we cannot have elected officials give away our assets to their campaign financiers and friends. It has put our city in a bad fiscal spot. It has caused tremendous amounts of financial concern in the future, and it's certainly going to make Mr. Rice's experience even more interesting. So, welcome aboard, brother. Welcome to the show. You're going to need it. Drinks on me next time. Don't drive and drink. But anyway, have a great evening, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And I believe there is going to be a press conference at 5:15 out in front tomorrow. So just FYI for those that are interested. See you then.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mike Perunsky, a city resident. I just wanted to come up here during the open session tonight to talk about violence in our community. I'm just really saddened as a community member that we've had another homicide in our community, this time in our downtown. And I'm actually really disappointed that the police department failed to inform residents where the homicide occurred. Because I think it's really important for people to know what's happening in their community. And you look at, just for example, Baltimore City, there was recently a homicide there, and the police department posted when it happened, where it happened, video of the altercation, asked for assistance, just like our police department did. But I was at the farmer's market Saturday morning downtown, and I see police patrolling the area, get back to my house and find out the reason why they were down here was because there was a murder 5 hours prior. So I'm not sure how frequently we have police patrols in the downtown. I don't know that we have a downtown police officer who's a regular presence. I've been taking care of a garden near Church Street and Route 13, and about 6 weeks ago I saw a fight in the breakout while I was there in the middle of Route 13. Just fighting across the street, and violence is a real problem in our community. Violence interruption is a major opportunity to try to help people solve problems constructively. I don't have any answers to this other than we really have to do better. It starts at home, starts in our schools. We've had major violence problems in our schools recently, and it just continues out into the community. So I know that many business owners in the downtown, I know many of them license holders who are open late at night. All of them have staff. All of their staff has families. All of these people rely on their businesses to remain open and for people to continue to patronize them. And we really have to get out in front of this and really make a strong showing in our community that the behavior is unacceptable, and we're really going to do whatever it takes to stop it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on any topic this evening? All right, seeing none. This legislative session is now adjourned at 6:32. We'll pivot to our work session, and it is called to order at this time. We'll start with a charter amendment resolution amending Article 16. Ms. Boucher, if you wouldn't mind getting us started with that. Thank you.
Sure. Actually, I think it would be easier to start with the resolution to amend SC 4-1. That's the genesis of this particular charter amendment, as well as the resolution to amend Article 16. And in addition, when we get down to the ordinances, updating the Department of Infrastructure chain of command, so that's an ordinance to amend Chapter 2.12.040. What administration would like to do is to clean up specifically SC 4-1, which sets forth the duties of the city administrator and deputy administrator. If you see as currently written, it is a bit outdated. For example, the charter does not reference the ABCD and certain other city departments. So we'd like to be a little less specific to allow for flexibility with respect to department name changes or creation of departments, and also to allow for flexibility in terms of chain of command. So with this change, the city administrator, with the approval of the mayor, would determine the strategic and operational needs of the city, and then therefore to determine who would report to the city administrator and/or the deputy administrator. The deputy city administrator is going to report directly to the city administrator and carry out supervisory and administrative functions as designated by the city administrator, and act in the city administrator's absence, which we currently do not have in our charter. We have also added that there may be an assistant city administrator who's going to provide support and with respect to special projects and administrative tasks and day-to-day operations. So that is, or are the changes to SC 4-1, SC, the changes to Article 16. Currently, the way the charter reads is that the Director of Procurement would report directly to the Deputy City Administrator, and so we would change that. Everybody is going to report to the City Administrator at this point, and then from there, the City Administrator, with approval of Mayor, could determine if, to allow for flexibility of who may need to report in the chain of command. And then that, as I also mentioned, is referenced in updating 2.12.040 of the City Code to have the Director of Infrastructure and Development also report to the City Administrator.
Thank you. If we could just, I'm going to just slow it down a little bit more, because again, this is how the city has operated for quite some time, with having the city administrator run, or
Certain
six departments and then
some-
deputy.
correct.
So just to help the public and also council, if administration could just take it slower and hearing it from you all as well. I guess the reason why, and then the strategy, and then how this will look moving forward, how council will interact with the respective offices, and of course the public, and then the employee. How does this look? This is a complete change.
I think it really evolved kind of, Alan was sort of more the architect of a lot of this, and where it was coming from was, whereas Andy was here before, now Nick's in this role, he's a procurement guy, it made sense for the procurement officer to kind of report to him, but we didn't have that sort of flexibility in the model, because it was specifically saying these departments report to the city administrator and somebody, the deputy. Anyway, that was sort of the thinking was, it seems a little specific to have that in your charter, and this offers a little bit of, whether it's a personality thing or a skill set thing or a background thing, that they could pick and choose sort of who they thought would be the best matchup. That's all I was really trying to do. Anyone want to comment any further on that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. Alan and I met a couple weeks back, just kind of, obviously Alan's skill set and my skill set are slightly different. So we were looking towards which departments would have direct reports to who, and then in that conversation, looking at the charter, not to make it so specific that every time there's a change in administration, that you're coming before council to make those changes.
So I guess just to, if you all can walk us through, because again, explaining how the assistant, just to make sure that I'm working how this works with having, only because I've been a part of, or many top heavy, but having, just to make sure that they do it. So, and just to make sure that the public knows we're responsibly, now we have three persons who are city administrator title, we have city administrator, deputy, and now assistant. Can you just explain how those roles are different? And then just because again, the assistant city administrator was brought back, my understanding is they're more delegating task oriented, but if we can just walk through that again, just to make sure everyone is on the same page with that.
Yeah, and in terms of the assistant administrator, deputy administrator, the concept there was I'm calling it kind of special forces, is somebody from the mayor's office that carries the authority of the mayor's office, but they can pull off projects that, for example, North Prong or the Gertrude Shockley project, and there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of little that are customer facing, taxpayer facing projects that are a little bit too nebulous for the DIDs but he can but have access to personnel to do them and just stay on them and get them buttoned up. They're not big projects, but they're meaningful projects and they need to get buttoned up. So, and that's where kind of Tommy's filling that role. Mr. Stevenson, I apologize.
Tommy, I've never
Tommy, a little familiar. I'm sorry.
Let's say professional.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then just the deputy city administrator and assistants and city administrator, how are they working? Since you all don't have specific departments, how does that look and feel now? And just to help us, I know before I would know, okay, these departments I would CC this person. So how does it?
Yeah, I think I don't know off the top of my head how we laid those out. If you want to bring Alan up, I'm sure Alan.
That's why Alan's there. Yeah. We have big picture and no.
Sorry. He was laying this groundwork weeks before he came on board.
Trick question.
Is this on?
If you want to move, yep.
Golly. All right. Police, fire, DID, waterworks, finance, and procurement are direct reports to Nick Rice. The reason being police and fire need to be with the city administrator, especially when it comes to communication and getting that word out. The other four work very closely together. on a lot of big projects. So having that fluid conversation in the real time where the one person, Mr. Nick Rice, is catching those pieces, is going to allow for more efficiency on the operation side. As it is right now, my reports would be ABCD, HCDD, field ops, so 3 very forward-facing departments, as well as communications. So how do we talk about forward-facing departments? Having that person there. IS and HR would also report to me as well.
All right.
And again, this amendment allows for fluidity over time in case, things change.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you. And if you all can just send that to us, that way we know now who to CC and make sure, to help with constituents and all those things. But I think this is, I personally, I think this is good and helps you all. So yeah, I was trying to wrap my head. I was like, what are they doing? But yeah, this makes sense. And thank you for that. It definitely cleans it up. Any questions, council?
No, makes sense.
No?
Makes sense because it's low for one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that was that all 3 of both of those?
It would address both
Okay.
the charter amendments as well as,
It's
I know it's
Article
out of
16.
order, but
Yeah.
ordinance to amend chapter 2.12.040.
Council, if no other questions, we have consensus to move forward with amending Article 16 for the charter and amending SC 4-1 of the charter.
Yes. Yes.
Yes and yes? Great, thank you, Ms. Boucher. Next, subrecipient agreement for Lot 10. Ms. Boucher, resolution to,
This is back before you for discussion tonight. It was discussed at the last work session, so there's been no changes or amendments since the subrecipient agreement itself. The only thing is that there is a resolution to approve the subrecipient agreement and to authorize the mayor to enter into it.
gotcha. And again, can we just underscore, I know the public, just that this is not us waving a blank check, that there are stipulations, and there's an onus that would be on the developer to begin to make sure they're meeting the thresholds to continue to move forward with this project.
Correct, it's a reimbursement
Yep.
scheme.
Okay. Council, any questions or comments?
I wanted to bring up just some clarification on default on line 19 and 20, just to look at that. Could that be anything? Like if somebody doesn't like one little, thing or a lettering or,
Looking at the default provisions, which are paragraph 19 and 20, these are provisions in all of the city's subrecipient agreements. Or do you have specific questions with respect to the language? Or?
so basically you're saying that that's a standard piece in all the subrecipient.
It is.
I guess just to help Councilman Vice President, who would determine default? It's not just, one person saying, oh, you're in default, or there are some layers or.
Yeah, I guess who determines that?
Well, one party would claim the other is in default. There's a 30-day period to cure. What that basically means is the party who believes the other party is in default sends written notice, putting them on notice that, hey, we believe you've not held up your end of the bargain. At that point, there's the opportunity to resolve it. Should that not be resolved, then what the remedies are set forth in paragraph 20. And so, for default, the city, in its sole discretion, can do 2 of the following things: withhold further payment under the agreement or terminate the agreement. And then I think what maybe you're referring to is in the subsection C, that a court, which would be our local court systems here, if it determines default by the subrecipient was a result of fraud or breach on the part of the subrecipient, or breach of contract, that way the money that was expended to the subrecipient would have to be repaid back to the city. That would be a determination made by the court.
Thank you, Ms. Boucher. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Okay, we have consensus to move forward?
Yes.
Yes? All right, thank you, Ms. Boucher. Next, charter amendment resolution amending Salisbury Charter, Section 5-1. I think we have Mr. Boda joining us here. So who wants to start here?
Thank you. Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I have SC 5-1, which this would allow us to increase the maximum fines for misdemeanors and municipal infractions. We discussed this last month. We come back, we took some advice from public comment, and essentially it's going to remove, under 38, it's going to remove everything that's there, and then it's just really going to be simple that says to provide violations of ordinances and resolutions of the city shall be punishable as misdemeanors or municipal infractions, and to provide for punishment thereof by civil remedy, fine, incarceration, and/or other, supposed to be penalties. I did send a clean version to Julie, as permitted by Maryland law, and then I also added an Oxford comma after incarceration, just for, I don't.
Thank you.
There's been a debate about the Oxford comma, whether to use it or, anyway.
I prefer,
that
yes.
would be what's in the charter. Again, that gives flexibility. If the state law changes, then we don't have to go and change again. We just go by what state law. And in that, as a piece of this, I have gone through the charter or the city code as a whole, identifying all of the violations, penalties, and everything that's in the code. Some stuff that was been written in there since the 40s and 50s up until now. And we will be going through systematically, title by title, and doing a modernization of those titles to then update to make sure that everything is consistent, clear, modernized, makes sense, and all of that stuff. So it is a really fun project.
Thank you. Council, any questions? No? All right, seeing none, do we have consensus to move forward?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Boda. All right. And I think, Ms. Rader, we have you join via Zoom to discuss an ordinance authorizing and empowering the city of Salisbury to issuance of refunding bonds for the villages of Adelet Farm. Do we have you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Good evening, members of the council. In 2007, the city issued, pursuant to the Tax Increment Financing Act and the Special Taxing District Act, a series of special obligation bonds that are payable in the first instance from tax increment revenues collected from a designated development district within the city known as the Northeast Collector Phase 3 Development District, and in the second instance from special taxes imposed in a geographically coincident special taxing district that is also referred to as the Northeast Collector Phase 3 Special Taxing District. Those bonds were issued in the original principal amount of $9,775,000 in April 2007. Then, of course, we had the economic downturn, which lasted for a while. Some of the properties from which the real property taxes were collected that provided the tax increment revenues, as well as the special taxes, went into tax sale. And eventually, the holders of the 2007 bonds asked if the city would consider restructuring those bonds. And the city undertook a restructuring of those bonds. It didn't issue new bonds. We actually modified the Series 2007 bonds in 2015 and referred to them as the amended and restated Series 2007 bonds. Fast forward to 2025, and a single entity, Lapis Advisors Limited Partnership, owns all of those restructured bonds. And those bonds in 2015 were restructured to be capital appreciation bonds, which means that as interest accrues, it gets added to the amount of the principal of the bonds. And again, we have been in a situation where development within the district has not occurred as anticipated in 2015. And Lapis Advisors has asked the city to consider issuing refunding bonds. It is proposing that there would be 2 series of refunding bonds that would be used to refinance the amended and restated Series 2007 bonds. There would be a senior series of bonds that are fixed rate bonds that would be sold to sophisticated investors in a limited public offering. And there would be a subordinate series of bonds that would be cash flow or capital appreciation bonds that would continue to be held by Lapis Advisors. Municap Inc., which has been the administrator of the district since the beginning, is serving as financial advisor to the city and is undertaking a lot of financial analysis as to projected incremental tax revenues that will be collectible from the district in the future, as well as the scheme for imposing the special taxes on property owners within the district. They are not recommending that we modify the rate and method of apportionment of those special taxes at any time. And from a timing perspective, we have prepared a bond ordinance, which is required by both the Tax Increment Financing Act and the Special Taxing District Act, that authorizes the city to issue in one or more series from time to time, not to exceed $18 million of refunding bonds that will be payable from the tax increments and from the special taxes within this existing district. Any refunding bonds cannot mature later than January 1, 2037, which is the maturity date of the existing bonds, and that's due to the request that was required by the Special Taxing District Act when the original Series 2007 bonds were issued. The ordinance provides also for maximum interest rates on any series of bonds based on whether such series of bonds is issued on a tax-exempt basis for federal income tax purposes or as a taxable basis. And then the ordinance does what is authorized by both the Tax Increment Financing Act and the Special Taxing District Act, and that is it delegates to the mayor the authority to determine the other details of any refunding that actually takes place by executive order. And that's what was done in 2007 and in connection with the restructuring in 2015. And the schedule, the preliminary schedule, because Lapis Advisors, if financially it makes sense for the refunding to occur, has asked that we get the bond ordinance in place so that we can continue. As we are waiting for the bond ordinance to become effective, the working group is working on structuring the proposed financing. So the schedule calls for the introduction of the ordinance at your October 27th meeting, and the holding of a public hearing and consideration of the ordinance for passage at your November 10th council meeting.
Lindsay, can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
Lindsay, this is Mayor Taylor. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I'm just trying to take notes. There's a lot of information there. So 2007, the balance was 9.7 million. Is that a correct statement?
They were originally issued as $9,775,000.
And the present balance is how much?
We are, I'm not sure exactly what the present balance is at the moment, but it might be in the $15 million or $16 million range. I'm waiting for confirmation of that.
And you're saying this single asset purchaser came in and bought these bonds with the understanding that they would get accumulated interest until such time that the TIF bonds could be paid back with tax revenue?
Tax increment revenues.
Yeah, right.
And the backup special taxes, correct.
Right. And who signed off on that?
First, the council had to pass a bond ordinance in 2015 authorizing that, and then the mayor by executive order determined details.
Okay.
It was well. So if you could just, well, I don't know who that would be to provide any background. This is what really. Maybe we should do some highlighting on the reason why. I know we talked about it in my first year. I think it was December of that year of the TIF and the why for that community, the Bigland Park Drive and that community. I'm not sure if any folk, no one's in a room, no department. Okay, I'm putting you on the spot, but maybe we should because when we say these numbers and these things, it's startling. But there was a reason why, and this fiscally made sense. I want to draw some attention to page 50 and 51 when it comes to the memo and then staff's recommendation there. Can you? I don't know if you, Sandy, or someone wants to highlight again the what this does to the fiscal impact and with the general fund, those kind of things. I think we need to highlight that as well. This is coming from this is Tom's memo, or sorry, your memo to Tom. So if anyone wants to highlight that, make sure this has the answer to some of your questions there are.
Well, in full disclosure, I was part of the bank group that put together the Islet Farm project.
Well, all right.
But what I'm trying, no. I mean, I was a small piece of it. It was a bigger. I brought the deal, but the meltdown happened. That's the reality. But what I'm trying to figure out is how is it that the bondholders don't take some level of risk in this whole thing rather than have it accumulate over time? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How does that work?
The bondholders do take the risk in that they are payable solely from incremental tax revenues to the extent those are generated over the original assessable base of the district, which was established by statute when the TIF district was originally designated. And the amount of special taxes that can be levied on any real property in the district is limited by the rate and method of apportionment that was put in place in connection with the original 2007 financing. It's important for me to note, which I did not do, that any refunding bonds will not be backed by the full faith and credit or taxing power of the city.
Right.
They are payable only from the incremental tax revenues and special taxes levied on properties within the existing district.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that incremental part of that finance or that incremental revenue could be held out 50 years, 60 years potentially with this arrangement. Am I wrong?
No, because the bonds mature on January 1, 2037.
There's a 2037.
Fewer than 12 years from now.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, then if if the bonds aren't being paid, the bondholders take the risk. They don't get fully paid.
So the clock runs out at 37.
Correct.
Which is what?
Or before, Ms. Rader, can you actually, and that was my next question, or I want the conversation so that everyone can hear. So when we look at the current need, this is on our memo here, of the why, the restructuring in the city and the current bondholder, which is Lapis Advisors LP, they seek to refinance the bonds to maximize debt service coverage and reduce the risk of default. Can you just paint the story of what happens if they do default on this, on these bonds here, and what does that look like for the city and for the neighborhood?
Well, again, the public improvements that were originally funded have been put in place. So there can be defaults because the owners of real property within the district are not paying their real property taxes from which the incremental tax revenues are derived, or the special taxes imposed upon them. And so if they default, their properties go to tax sale, and if they are eventually purchased out of tax sale, whoever purchases the property has to pay the back taxes. And so, on January 1, 2037, the bonds mature. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. And a representative from UNICAP, which is the financial advisor, will be at the upcoming meetings and can answer your questions about how the structuring works from a financial side in much greater detail.
Thank you. And if we could, I don't know if staff, if you all want to, for council and the public, to kind of give some background on the, or maybe you, Mayor Taylor, since you were, just some background. I know this is probably the third time we've kind of talked about this, but just to provide some background and that'll help the public and council, and then talking about the now and then where we need to go. So that may be of help. Council, any other questions or comments on this? No? Consensus to move forward?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rader. We appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. See you in a
Yes.
couple of weeks.
Yes.
See you.
All right. Next, Ms. Boucher, an ordinance amending Chapter 2.10.040 for the chain of command.
This is just what we've
Yeah.
discussed. It's in the same vein. Specifically, this would amend what was in our code, not our
Okay.
charter. A code change is just an ordinance as opposed to a charter resolution. And here, we're updating the chain of command for the Director of Infrastructure and Development. Again, all department heads are, per the charter, reporting to the city administrator, and from there, the city administrator, with the flexibility of the mayor, could determine the chain of command, which would be made known to council and the other members of the public and within the city itself.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
No.
Seeing none, we have consensus to move forward?
Yes.
Yes, all right, thank you. All right. We have Director Green, yep. An ordinance approving a budget amendment for the city's general fund. Good evening.
Good evening. The ordinance that you have in front of you is to request approval to appropriate $511,606 in lease proceeds for the purchase of police radios, fire radios, AEDs, and heart monitors, and to update the funding source for the property and records management system. If you recall, originally, this was budgeted through bond proceeds, and now we're asking for the equipment to now be financed with lease, which aligns better with its useful life, and it yields an estimated $84,000 in interest savings compared to a 15-year bond financing.
Right, we'll just see you 10 more times this year for those kind of savings, and we
Right, because
Thank you.
the useful life of this equipment, we
Yes.
reevaluated it, and we felt that it would be better to do it under lease payments, even though the lease interest rate is a little bit higher.
Sure, but
The compounding of interest
Yeah.
that would be paid over a 5-year period
Versus-
versus 15
Yeah,
years
15,
makes
yeah.
more sense.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Maybe, and again, I don't know, just while I'm thinking of it, again, maybe we should look into that for I know our vehicles are the same way, and maybe we can structure that up, or, so any savings.
Yeah,
but
the vehicles are actually under the.
already
lease.
under lease? All right, well, whoop-de-doo. Okay, thank you. Councilman, any questions?
No.
No? No, we love it. Thank you. Consensus to move
Thanks.
forward?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you, folks, for that. Next and final item on the work session, final speaking point for the work session, some council discussion. And appreciate administration's efforts on this as well. Just 2 items here. Again, Councilwoman Jackson called for these 2 items, just a discussion here. For first one being the potential railing for downtown Riverwalk. We know that's been some discussion points before. Just want to kind of talk through some things and then see where we move forward as a city. And then the final next item is the Housing First program strategy. Talk to what's been going on. There's been some buzz, and then just kind of pieces moving forward to get us to that 2027 timeline. Yeah. Yep.
Talking about the potential railing for downtown Riverwalk, I think it's very essential. I know a lot of people do not agree with me, as we have pulled a lot of bodies, quite a few bodies out in the last maybe 5 to 10 years. Just one recently, and I'm not asking totally for rails, but if we could have some provision there, if we don't do anything but the nautical look with the ropes or whatever, it's better than not doing anything at all. I actually think about saving lives. Sometimes money is not saving lives. We have to pay to save people's lives. And if we're thinking about saving money, then we're not concerned about the lives of others. And I just want to see this done. If we do it section by section until it gets done, I think it needs to be done. I mean, what are we supposed to do? If a family's walking, and I've said this the last meeting or the work session, if a family's walking and a child just so happens to get away, fall in the water. I mean, let's have preventive measures set in place for our citizens. I think it's imperative. I think it's very, very important, and it's a vital need in our community, in our city. So I think, this is something that we need to talk about. And actually, speaking about it on the news, DNR said they would help us find grant funding for this project. So we need to dig into it and see what we can find out to help with this process, because I don't want to see another person in the water drowning. We've got a railing going across the bridge. Why is the railing across the bridge? Could somebody answer me? But we don't have railing going across the Riverwalk. But it's over the bridge. It's over on the other side as people are coming down a step. We have a nursing home, seniors with Alzheimer's. It's something about water that draws them. Mm-hmm. We have the hospital across the street. People do wander from the hospital, especially dementia patients. We have homeless living under the bridge. No, you may not like it, but they're there. And they're people too. Mm-hmm. Their lives, just like my life. My life is important, their life is just as important as mine. I think this is a need. It's not a want, it's a need. And if anybody agrees with me on the council, would you please speak up and say something?
Well, I think we've definitely, I can agree to this. We've talked about this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We brought it up on several occasions.
I've brought it up several times.
And in fact, the nursing home there, sitting right on the Riverwalk, I went down and talked to them about it, and they did install sections that were in conjunction with the city. They worked together as a cooperative project to get fencing along that area out back where a lot of the residents do go for, I guess, visits outside, out on their deck and that kind of thing. So that was very nice to see that go forward. We have talked about it for a long time, and I think we need to get serious about how, where would it go first, or what sections would it be, or something of that nature.
Well, Angela, I would like to say, I would think it is where we find the most bodies, where we have found the most bodies at. I know bodies float. I do know that. Don't get me wrong, I know they do. But where is the falling in, and then again, where are the most people that engage in that area, who engage in that area? That's what we got downtown. We've got bars, and look at just what just happened this week. You didn't go in the water, but it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, and it could have been just as easy if that person had been thrown in the water or whatever. And I just want something to prevent. We're not gonna stop everything. Now I'm gonna tell you, no, we're not. We just can't stop everything, but we can bring it to a bare minimum.
Don't you think the first thing would possibly be to decide what types of fencing based upon the fire department or the police department or the city needing access to every portion of the water? So if we have a solid fence of some sort, they won't have access to it if they need to get there. But if there's some type of a compromise of fence, April and I talked about maybe there's the fat roping. If you had really fat ropes, then fire department, police department, city would all be able to access it, hopefully, but it also would possibly stop someone from falling forward or by accident. I think that's what fencing out there is available that would address both pieces of need for that access or safety.
Yeah, definitely. I remember. I'm of course in support of it. I remember we brought this up for discussion during my tenure here, and the conversation was brought up, and then it kind of stopped there with insurance, our insurance company not agreeing with that, and rates possibly increasing there. So could we, I guess, just to make sure that we're not walking down a path that is not making sure that we exhaust that first again, because again, if that wasn't the case, we just stopped there. The conversation didn't continue. So if we can just get that and just cross that out, just say, again, the cost is this, but again, lives are saved here, not cost preventative there. And then what are the options? Because again, we don't know all the options. It could be rope. There could be little things to stop, again, if someone's in a wheelchair or walking device or something. So I don't know what the options are. It's now 2025 from the last time we talked about this. There could be more options that maybe good there. So
Well, I don't think it should be prolonged. It should be some investigation, some research or whatever, but I don't think this should be prolonged. I've been talking about this basically ever since I've been on it. When they first started doing the Riverwalk, I brought this to the council. As a matter of fact, I spoke to Jake about it, the former mayor, and I was told it couldn't be done because of it was the state. Okay. Who is Department of Natural Resources?
Yeah. I think, well, DNR, yeah.
And even they agree.
Yeah. Well, we have looked at it. It's several thousand feet of riverfront, most of which we don't own, meaning Hill Street, the county boat dock, the city park we do, but I mean, people fish off of there. So there's umpty places for people to fall in the water.
I'm not talking about at the park.
Okay.
I'm talking about from La Quinta, where we usually have the folk festival, or used to, where La Quinta is. I'm talking about that area that follows all the way through. And I'm quite sure that most of those restaurants and stuff that are on that side of the river would be more than glad to do this. I'm quite sure they would. It would save them. I just think that, we come up with a lot of excuses why we can't do things.
Well, I don't think it's...
No, I'm not saying,
Okay.
not personally pointing no finger at you. I'm just saying, we come up with excuses, why? But look how many lives we've lost.
Yeah. Well,
That possibly could have been saved.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would like to try to see about implementing this.
Yeah. Well, the two that come to mind was the young lady that was on the other side near the North Prong. There was no waterfront there. There's no riverfront river walk there. And then the other side was where the auto place where that gentleman fell in a couple years ago, whenever it was, 18 months ago. When I first became mayor, he fell in, and then actually he fell somewhere else. But I think he was near where the auto place was. But those places that we don't own anyway, So, it's challenging. It's a very challenging situation.
Maybe we could start by figuring out exactly what we do own, what sections we do own.
Yeah.
And as President said, find out if there's an insurance issue that is holding us back. And if not, then what is owned by the city, at least we would feel that we could pursue some type of solution that would cover us and prevent any further accidents possibly.
Do we have to own but do we have to own the land in order to mandate for there to be a railing placed on there?
Or get an easement from them.
That's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the. I know that. I mean, cities across they don't own all the land that is.
And particularly where I'm speaking about, I thought we owned it.
From lot.
Well, on the North Prong
From La Quinta,
the
going
lot
down.
16 bridge.
Yeah.
On down to where the construction is going on at the at Route 13. That section right there.
In that area,
then
yeah, on
going
both
over there,
sides. And then what we do is we talk to the owners of the other properties and get them vested in it. It's a safety measure for them and their clientele. I just think it's a need. I do. Yeah. It's not something I just want for myself to say, oh, April got this. I think it's a need. It's desperate to me because when it comes to water, once you're in there, 9 times out of 10, I can swim. I may panic. I'm not going to tell you no lie. And I can swim. But just falling in that water, you can't see. I mean, you know, and then if a child does it, or old, or elderly person, or whatever, somebody from the nursing home, you know, to me, that's a liability on the city.
Well, it's their stretch right there, and that's why they paid for their portion of the fence. The city, I think, helped with the procurement of the fence to get a good price of it, and helped them with some logistics of it. But actually, the city could not install the fence on their property.
Well, I don't want the fence. I want some railing where the river walk is, where the actual.
That is.
Yeah, this is the river walk. This is part of the river walk. That is part of the pathway there in front, right up the out back of the nursing home. You have to go around to the back and look. And the nursing home had to take that charge on. But it was in conjunction, it was like a couple months, several months of back and forth and negotiating it. But we could look into that process as well.
Where's the fencing at Riverwalk, the nursing home?
Right, you have to go.
Is it on the actual?
Before you get there.
It's not on the water.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, it keeps
That's
them
what I'm
from going
saying. It's
out
not where I.
Well, I think the idea was it keeps them from going out to the the river walk without supervision.
That's what theirs were.
Yeah.
Mine's is to keep the people who are on
Yeah.
the Riverwalk protected.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, it sounds like we have some homework to do, but we will we'll keep this a fluid conversation. Thank you all for that. Next is the Housing First program strategy. I don't know if you want to start, Councilwoman Jackson, but I know that there was some buzz and there was a letter that council received about the program kind of being shifted. So if we want to just kind of talk about that and then kind of just so we can help with talking points and knowing what's going on there.
Yeah. I think even when Andy was here, me, Andy, Tom, and Mior and Christine, when Christine came on, kind of got settled. I became aware of this long-term, permanent supportive housing, and what I was gathering from Christine and the programmatic intention was to try and help people attain permanent supportive housing, but not be the provider of permanent supportive housing. So we were looking at it as an opportunity to say, okay, you know, some of these folks have been here 9 years, you know, so we're saying, wait a minute, we can help more people in increments of a year to 2, getting them. Single mom, 2 kids, lost her job, behind on her rent, lost her home, whatever the case may be, we help her get their person to a couple years or a year and a half. Then they, get settled, and we can help them, keeping them from going into the homeless category. And they're, helping them find a voucher, help them find a rental, and support them in that perspective. So it was our attempt to go, we're going to give you a long window. We've had a few people place already. Long window, long runway, but in the meantime, we're going to try to use that $90,000 or $100,000 to help, more, not eliminate the program, but be more of the supportive program, the bridge, to get them to permanent supportive housing, if that makes sense.
It does, and it does make good sense, because I feel like this, and Sharon and I have talked about it. I think Deshaun and I have talked about it. I don't think a person should be, 10 years is too long. It's too long. I think after 2 years, a person should be able to establish themselves and get on their feet. I just don't feel as though we should, sometimes we hinder people.
Enable.
We enable them. We do. We enable people, we hinder them, and, that now they're totally dependent upon the city to take care of them. And I don't think that's fair, because there's other people who need the help and can't receive the help because it's being exhausted by a few people.
Yeah.
So I do agree.
Thank you. Just so I can gain clarity, this is good, because I didn't. There was no verbiage in the letter that we got that it was going to continue. So,
yeah.
Again, it is about 96. Yeah, I was saying $97. Yeah, $1,000. What? And just because, again, it's hey, what's the city doing to in this epidemic? We have homeless and rental, and again, it's a small piece, which is a small piece of our budget. But again, this is something that was supposed to transform into something else, but the buck's not there.
Right.
So just so I can hear it again, there's no intent to stop the program. We will be we're encouraging the folks who are using the program now to move on to their permanent housing and then we will replace them with, I guess now we're going to call it temporary supported housing.
Yeah.
Instead of permanent.
Sort of a
supported
gateway
housing.
to
Okay.
permanent supportive housing, if that
Mayor's
makes.
here, are you part of this? You know?
Yeah.
Do you have any input?
You know, one piece of the people that we have in the program, there are several people who could be categorized as unhousable due to mental health issues. Anyone in that category, I think our goal is, and we're working with some of their mental health providers and some other support. A couple of them we have already found there's existing benefits for them to provide them for housing. And we are in the process of transitioning them in those programs. But so they're not going to lose their housing. One individual, we were able to help them find placement in an appropriate housing for someone who has disability. So this individual was not in a place. We found another location, and he actually, along with it, it was a voucher unit. So, so there's several individuals who have already, or either have moved out or are on their way of moving out of the program, but they have the support, they have the housing, they have the appropriate funding for their situation. There are several individuals that we're helping them get on lists for. There's a couple of them who need to be in some a unit that is for people with disabilities. This one individual is in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound, and the unit that he's in is not 100% appropriate for his situation. But we're getting him on a list for that type of unit that is similar to the other individuals. So we are working closely with the people that are on the end of it, and we're going to assist them in finding what they're qualified for. So there are a couple of individuals who we take care of all their rent. They haven't sought that, so we're working with them to find the appropriate funding to support them. So
Yeah, I think it's important to point out, this is before Ann Street got set up. And so the conversation sort of was just a monthly meeting, but is to figure out, of the existing dollars that we're spending, how can we help more people without enabling them? Follow me? So that's where we're trying to stretch that dollar to, instead of helping 30, we can help 130, that kind of thing. So, but there are always going to be those one-off situations, like he's saying, but there should be a permanent solution that's and not the city's role to play that role, if that makes sense.
Sure. And we will ensure that if there's a couple of them that are in those situations where if they're not housable due to certain situations and they haven't gotten all the assistance they need, we'll keep them in the program until we do get them. So even though we did say 2 years, we have the flexibility to make exceptions and keep someone on. We're not going to kick someone off and make them homeless. I can assure you that. But our goal is to try to help those that have the ability to gain some more independence and find what's available to them. We're going to assist them in that. Now, might be a couple that have made no effort to do some things, or they've stopped their counseling, so that's a piece of the program that they have to maintain with their mental health service providers. So that's something else we're looking at to encourage them to get back onto that, but then also encourage them to seek the benefits that are available to them. So
How many families, are there 11?
it's
My
not
understanding-
families, it's individuals.
But I mean,
It's right now.
say 11 or 12
11.
commitments, correct?
Correct. And
Okay,
then,
so then if you have a couple that will
yeah,
end up
we'll be
in
down to
that,
8 is what we're going
you'll
to be down to.
8. That's a lot of money for 8. But,
Sure.
But in the meantime, while you're transferring those 8, hopefully the remainder of the money that they're not using, you can start phasing in other families, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do you anticipate what is the timeline for the remaining 8? Because 8 out of 11 is still a lot.
Sure. Again, it's 2 years.
Okay.
Is the time limit that was.
The letter.
What the letter was. But again, we'll work to make sure, as long as they're making the efforts to do some, because we can't fill their applications and sign their applications for them.
Sure.
We can give them the application, we can connect them to the person, but we can't do it for them, you know.
Well,
So-
let me ask you a question. I heard you say 2 years. So are you saying that the program for an individual or family would be 2 years of Housing First program?
Yeah, we're going to look at redefining and revamping that program for the specifications. That's something Christine's working on. And then, so once we get that, and the mayor approves of it, we'll bring it to council to present it.
So question for you. What portions of the CDBG funds are used to fund this program,
None.
if any? None.
This is all
And in previous
city,
years, no funds were used?
there's no CDBG funding
Okay,
for
so
it.
that was just for Ann Street.
Well, that you're talking about
So how,
there was some money where Ann Street was put into one of the CDBG grants. But because Ann Street is not an accessible facility,
okay,
we're not allowed to use those.
just the case manager. So I'm seeing here, you have the case manager, who again, 50 person, so again, it helped to fund her salary there in 2024, I believe, right?
Correct. That
Okay.
was what they had put in the budget at that time. But we can't use that money for any of that because it's not, essentially it's the bathrooms. The bathroom's not accessible, and the units really are not either, but.
I guess where I'm, again, we're talking about now 20, we're talking about, you know, the 8 to the 11, that's 3 individuals, you know, my calculator. So again, it's 97,000, 11 people. Now we've saved 3. I mean, we're talking about a $66 million, but I'm not seeing where, and I guess that's why I'm just like, you know, we really, so are we going to, what I would like to hear from administration is how exactly we want to restructure the program. Because if we want to save the dollars, I mean, this is $100,000. Yes, it's money we can be saving, but I mean, when we want to help out-and-house people, I mean, that's.
Spending like money for a person for 9 to 10 years.
It's our fault.
Well, I'm not, that's not what I'm saying.
So I think
I'm
we need to
saying-
redesign what we
that's what I'm
have
saying.
to
We
still
need
be
to
helpful.
redesign
That's what
it.
we're trying to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what,
I was
Yeah.
trying, yes, I was trying to
Yeah.
get there.
That's
we're trying to keep the budget
sorry,
for it.
but
We're
that's
trying to
what I
keep
was
the money.
saying.
What am I
for it.
missing?
If you don't mind, I have
Yes.
a question.
So what I was going to
Trying to
get
keep
at, and I'm
funding
trying to
for
look
it.
it up, is the original intent of Housing First. Again, because it's permanent supportive housing. So what's the intent? We knew we were going to, again, the city, because we were all fiduciaries for the city, we knew we were taking on that liability for those persons. So again, if we're replacing, we need to be careful with our words, because what I'm saying is we need to say temporary, because when we say permanent supportive housing, these are individuals that without our care, they are unable to find housing in any other sector, again, generally speaking. So if we are saying, hey, person, go find housing, it's already difficult to find housing anywhere else for, you know, an able-bodied, you know, working individual. Again, they were selected for a reason. I'm just saying, I want us to make sure we slow it down and not, again, we're giving them 2 years. So yes, I agree. And we want to allocate money to persons who are in great need, but we're just going to, we may end up replacing it with someone else who is of equal and, you know, same need. It's going to be different, just a different person.
Well, no, and I think that's part of our issue is that, you know, we've got to qualify who we're taking in, knowing that we can make a softer landing in another program.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, we're intervening, we're not creating an environment where they moved in. You know what I mean? So, does that make sense?
I got you.
But yeah, I didn't come up with the title.
Yes. I know, yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, no, it'll be renamed. We have a name that we've been looking at. Off the top of my head, I didn't bring my paper with me. But
didn't bring your sheets with you, your notes.
yeah. But yeah, we'll be revamping it, and you know, again, the idea is to try to get a bigger bang for our buck on this program, and try to, you know, the goal, like we said, the goal is to move people to as some sort of independence, and then use other benefits that are already available for them.
Hampton First is not a bad name. It's just you have the program. It has to be tweaked.
Yes, yeah, we use this as one of our qualifiers. I'm done talking about it. We use this as one of our qualifiers to get CDBG funds. So I'm just, in addition, the city also provides 10 units of PSH for unsheltered, chronically homeless clients at a cost of, and then it was $108,679. So I'm just, and then when we put that out, it just kind of, so just, yes.
Can I
Go
just
ahead.
I have a slight follow-up question. So you're saying that there's funding available for some of these folks to take advantage of outside of the city that you're finding for these folks. We're seeing budget cuts everywhere at the federal level, and they are striking some of the most vulnerable folks. So, and state funding just is alike. So where is this funding coming from? Is it coming from state and federal agencies? Is it coming from private organizations? How stable is this funding? Because if these folks have been reliant on us for up to a decade, that worries me as to, we're a stable force for these folks. What is the stability of the funding for them outside of us?
The one individual, I believe it is that he actually got into a unit. So there's several places around town that have the housing voucher is attached to the unit, not the person.
Okay.
So if you qualify for the voucher, you qualify for the particular apartment.
Right.
So I believe that is HUD. And then the two individuals are clients of I believe it was either the ACT team or it's either the ACT.
If you don't know it off the top
But
of your head, that's
they
fine.
have
Get back.
funding through Somerset County.
Okay.
That has some housing vouchers through their health department. So those are that's the other uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen with the federal budget in the future and what priorities are going to be made. That's the other.
So if they go off and get independent, and I'm using big air quotes because them switching their dependence from us to someone else is not independence. I mean, let's be really clear here. We're just shifting it upwards. What would be the guarantee if that funding fails them that they could come back and participate in the program? Like, would there be a catch-all clause that folks can, if they would be at least be prioritized to be readmitted into the program because they had previously been part of it? I mean, like that. I'm trying to think 5 steps down the road.
Yeah,
because
sure.
we're
No, I
seeing
mean,
these
and
cuts,
again,
I'm
at
like,
that time, it would depend on if there's an open spot in the program.
Right.
And if there's
Let's just say
funding.
prioritizing.
If there's funding available that's not already been assigned to other people in the program.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean by prioritize.
Yeah.
Like, they may have to take a number, but like they would be prioritized. They would kind of jump to the front of the line as someone who had, in good faith, worked with us previously.
Yeah, and I think there's a level of the individuals of their situation, whether it's mental health, whether it's health. Again, we would prioritize based on that too.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for highlighting that. That was, that's good. We look forward to hearing any updates or when you finally get that name, Mr. Boda, you can send it to council.
I'll let you know.
Look forward to it. Any other
Mirror's house.
final?
That's where we're going.
That house is full.
Any other final comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay. Thank you, folks. And thank you, Councilwoman Jackson, for bringing that forward. Public comment. All right. So on any of the above items, 3 minutes, name.
We gotta get it up here. We gotta
And,
get
okay. She's got.
I'm like, whoa.
You get a few extra seconds if you.
I won't stop. Sorry.
You can.
All right, thank you.
Is that banana bread?
We got it, Mr.
Yes,
Langford.
go ahead.
All right. Michael Langford, 1026 Arthur Court, City of Salisbury resident. So I would like to discuss, again, the Lot 10 subrecipient agreement. So specifically, it feels so inappropriate, this resolution, because of my earlier comments about public money is not for private interest. If you go to page 28 and 29 on the agenda packet for tonight, you can see that there's a PAYGO, capital project PAYGO funding general information form from the Maryland Department of General Services, in which the developer, this resolution, calls for us to release state money. And the first draw, black and white, says land acquisition. After the conclusion of land acquisitions, developers can be reimbursed up to $75,000 upon presentation of the payment, proof of payment. Why are we paying a developer who is supposedly investing and filling our coffers with the state money? So why would we ever? That is just bad city governance. It's wholly inappropriate, is deeply unethical. Jake Day is to blame specifically for this, and it is wrong. I am willing to say that. State money for infrastructure improvements is the justification given. But if you look, the very first draw, black and white, says $75,000 to the developer. Why would you ever support that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you, if I go into a store, it doesn't make any sense. The taxes are then stayed because of here's home. So there's no revenue for the city. So you're telling me that for the city property, the city is not going to get any money because that money is just being switched around from the state, but it's all because money goes to a general fund from taxes. That's the same money. So they are getting reimbursed. The developers made no development on that lot, and they've owned it for over 2 years. They have no financial investment if we reimburse them for it, and there's no tax revenue. So you are propping up this private developer for what? Why are we going to give Nick Simpson, Mentis Capital Partners, why are we going to pay them for the lot that they supposedly bought? So you're giving it to them. You're giving them state money, you're giving them city property, and it's deeply unethical, it's deeply wrong. I don't understand the rationalization from public servants putting forward a resolution, which is just a suggestion, because you guys don't have the authority to actually sign this document, but it honestly feels fraudulent. The aspect of why would we ever sign off on paying back people who invested in our city? It makes every argument that any of Michelle Gregory, Angela Blake, or Deshaun Dowdy have ever made in favor of these development deals. You undermine every single argument you've ever made, because now we get nothing. We get no development, we get no investment, we get no revenue. Where's the city benefit? It's deeply, deeply wrong. Disappointed.
Thank you.
Do better.
Robert Taylor, still a Salisbury resident. Building on what he said, I think somebody else pointed out that the development in Fruitland that's going on without any subsidies for the developers, that includes a hotel that's going on, no subsidy there. Why are we subsidizing this hotel? Now, there's some serious things on the agenda tonight at this work session. I want to focus on two of them. They're both developer subsidy schemes. The first, let's talk about the tax increment financing bonds. I was involved in the IDLOT thing too, Randy, back in the initial setup of it, some behind-the-scenes stuff, not the negotiation of the TIF, but preliminary to that. And then about 12 years ago, I represented a lender of some of the property there when the original developer went bankrupt. So it's been through a lot of things. It shows you what can go wrong in a TIF deal. And I bring that up because if you'll remember, a year ago, we had this same Municap. You remember she mentioned Municap? Over across the street when you were meeting over there, Salisbury Mall, Old Mall, Unicap was there. Let's do a TIF, let's do a TIF. It's not the first time that a TIF has come up on this Old Mall. It came up about 2008 as well, right after Idlet Farm went through. Fortunately, thank goodness, the developer got cold feet and that one never closed, because it would be in exactly the same situation as Idlet Farm is now. What was it, 9 million originally? Yeah. And she said now the principal's what, 15 million? It was supposed to be paid off, I think, in 20 or 25 years. It's been almost 20 years. So you can see how these things don't work if you don't have skin in the game from the developer. And that's the problem. And if they come in again, and I'll bet it'll be Municap if another developer comes in, because Municap makes a fortune off these deals as an advisor. So the other thing is this giveaway to Nicholas Simpson, $4 million. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could use some of that to build those fences you want along the North Prong? How much affordable housing is he going to provide? How much affordable housing is Brad Gillis and them going to provide for the 3 parking lots that they sold? And I mean, it's got to stop. You've got to start doing something to require affordable housing. Thank you.
Joe Scafino, Salisbury. Just taking a minute to support Councilwoman Jackson's suggestion about the railing. That was one of the first things I noticed. My wife and I, we moved here. We actually took a walk at the amphitheater and everything, and we were really surprised. Wow, there's no railings here. You know, what about kids or something? And I'm a low vision person, so it's easy for me to stagger accidentally, and it's happened. In New York City, any waterfront parks, railways have rails. I've been to Rochester, New York. They have a canal running through the town. They have rails. And when you brought it up, Councilwoman Jackson, just sitting there on my phone, I called up, you know, San Antonio has a famous Riverwalk, and there's photos of that with a simple, classic railing. So it's just a common sense thing, and it sounds like the rest of the council's in support of that. So, you know, let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Perunsky, Salisbury resident. Ms. Jackson, I'm all about finding solutions to the Riverwalk safety issue. So what I was going to do is include that on the agenda for the Parks Committee on Thursday for us to discuss. And so that we can really dive deep into this topic. I will point out that the Riverwalk is one of the few places, I think 1 in 4 in the state of Maryland, where recreational fishermen can fish without a license in the downtown area. I think it's only like a 2 or 3 block distance, but you don't need a license there. So basically, we just have to consider all of the uses of the Riverwalk. There is a little access point for kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding if you so choose. I think it also calls into it just points out the need for us to look at life-saving devices along the Riverwalk. It's a real diverse area because you have the area by the dog park, adjacent to Brew River. You have just the downtown area and both sides of it, of course. So we really just have to look at how to address these like high-risk areas, but also accommodate recreational uses and ensure access. I did want to point out the Canton Waterfront Park is a great example of a place where we can look to see how they've balanced both of these needs for public safety and for recreation. And that's only a 2-hour drive away. But I'll point out a few other areas. Annapolis, their City Dock project is going to have a lot of water frontage. In Denver, Colorado, there's an amazing multi-use trail along a river there right in downtown, and along with the Platte River Trail, which is, I'm thinking of the Cherry Creek Trail, but the Platte River Trail. I will point out, too, on the shore, we've got the Pocomoke City waterfront area, and a beautiful river walk that I think would just serve everyone well is to visit, to see all the intersection of culture, environmental habitat, and this urban industrial vibe that they have going on there is the Point State Park. It's actually the Pittsburgh trailhead of the Great Allegheny Passage Trail. And it's an extensive river walk, and actually it doesn't have a railing in most of it. But there's that's not to say that it's not a good use. I think we just have to kind of look at it and make sure that if we do provide a railing, it's actually going to provide safety and not just the illusion of safety. So thanks.
Yeah.
Anyone else wishing to speak on any of the above topics? All right, seeing or hearing none, we'll move forward to administration comments.
It's been a day. I don't really have anything today. Obviously, it's been a whirlwind, but just appreciate you all again, and thanks for coming out with the public comments. It's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, I wanted to comment a little bit, what Mike had to say earlier about the stabbing on Friday night. I happened to be up because my mom had fallen, and I got the call and went down to the scene, and it was just the early stages of the investigation, but that's being handled by MSP. So they kind of cordon us off. We know a little, but we're not fully informed at all times. They're kind of running the investigation, and I think they've got a fairly good lead on who it is. They're trying to figure out where that person is. But just so you know, I mean, I think that, the local police are very conscientious, very attentive, and I think do a super job, certainly keeping the administration abreast of what's going on. But that's a fairly tight timeline to keep the community involved, and whereas they're trying to figure out the facts as well. Set that aside, I wanted to, really glad that Nick's gotten started. Today was day one. It went smoothly. It was good. And I'm glad to have him aboard and looking forward to working with him. So.
I had to leave.
What's that?
Was, I guess,
Ela?
for council.
Council notes?
I would like to give an announcement, and that is about the coffee with the cops.
Yeah.
At Pemberton Coffee House, it was very nice. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed talking to the chief and the other police in the department about safety and, informing us of some of the things that could be done in calling them. It was just nice to be able to be in that atmosphere. And just be able to sit down and talk rationally. I mean, it was nice. It was a nice feeling. And anybody that didn't come, you missed a treat.
Well, at least we were rational.
Yeah. We were rational. Oh, God.
And great bagels.
Yes,
Great
yes,
bagels.
that food was good. But I'm going to leave this one for Sharon, being as though she's on the commission, airport commission. I'll leave her for that one. And I did go to the Eastern Shore delegation. Didn't stay long because I was tired, and guess what? I slept the rest of the day. Because I can't do but so much. I'm still at that point where I still can't pile everything on in one day. And I have to understand that even though I want to do a lot of things, I'm just not there yet. I'm getting there, though. I'm getting better than not doing anything. Also, some events that my organization is hosting, they're coming near, and that's the Trunk and Treat, October the 31st, 2025. It's at 1117 Parsons Road. It's at the Village at Mitchell Pond. So if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome. You can decorate your vehicles up, give treats out, trying to keep a safe environment for the children. And it's not just for the children, it's for the adults as well. So, in family. Everything I do, I try to do it family-oriented, so, in the community-wide. And not only just the community, anybody from Pocomoke, Worcester County, to Somerset County, Dorchester County, are welcome to come. We open the doors up. That's just how I do what I do. And my next event is December. And that's the Senior Citizens Christmas Dinner and Gift Giveaway, which is a free event for the senior citizens. And they get to have a blast. They get a free Christmas gift. They get a free dinner. They get laughs and fun. And I'm telling you, I literally have Michelle's gone, Angela's gone, Deshaun has. Everybody here on the council is coming now. It's the mayor's chance to come, opportunity to come. But we have over 300 and some odd seniors there. And they have a great time. Believe me, they have a great time. And it's December the 20th from 12 to 4 at the Richard Hazel Youth Center. So if you don't have anything to do, and they have to be 60 and over, but if you are an employee of the city of Salisbury, I'm asking you just come out and just see what we do. Just come out, just watching. You'll get a good laugh. I can guarantee you will get a good laugh because those seniors are funny as I don't know what. But I'd like to see you there. You're more than welcome to come. And I think, and the deaths. I've been overwhelmed. I mean, when I say overwhelmed, overwhelmed. All the violence. Salisbury, we have to do better. We have to do better. This is sad. I go to sleep and wake up, I'm getting a phone call. Somebody, and I'm gonna tell you something. Basically, everybody in the city of Salisbury that has died here recently, I know them. Either personally or family. I know them. And it affects me greatly. When I say greatly, it does. To the point, Saturday, I never left my apartment. I was just that overwhelmed. The young man being stabbed, Friday? Saturday morning? Then a girlfriend of mine that I grew up with, she passed. But I can deal with that because that was, just death. She was my age, a little older. It was hard for her. But the kids that are killing each other, stop it. Stop the violence. Please stop it. It's never going to... You're hurting families. You're hurting communities. You're hurting this city. And it's no cause for somebody to take somebody's life for absolutely nothing. I mean, when I say absolutely, absolutely. When I was young, we fought. We never pulled out weapons. We just fought. If we lost, we lost. We'll take that L, like the younger generation says. We took that L. Okay. Take that L. Nobody's going to ever say you're going to ever stop fighting. Your kids, your young people, they're going to happen, but not to the extent that they're happening now. Well, we're actually shooting, stabbing, and everything else. Just, 1 second of thinking, not thinking, could cost you the rest of your life. So think, count, but stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Council.
So I just want to let folks know there is going to be, the Green Team is hosting a cleanup at Shoemaker Park this Thursday at 5:30. Come on out. Supplies will be provided. So come on out, help keep our parks, beautiful parks clean. The next one, Mike, you're going to like this.
What time?
That's 5:30 on Thursday. Nick, welcome aboard.
Well, Mike.
Thank you.
And Trial by Fire. So 2 years ago this month, I believe, we had a discussion and a piece of legislation come up to provide funding for a study on the intersection of Main, Mount Herman, Truett, and Long Avenues, right? My neighbor was involved in an accident there where she was seriously injured and is very, very lucky to be with us still because of it. I would really love to see that revisited. It was a discussion where that we were talking about putting a circle in there, and if there's anywhere in Salisbury that I think everybody can agree needs a circle, it would be that intersection. If you've ever sat, that's around the corner from my house, if you've ever sat at that intersection, you know the frustration of it. So, and I think most people go through it every day. I really would love to see us revisit this. If you could put a detective's cap on and figure out what has happened, because the initial funding was voted down, and my understanding is they found funding elsewhere for the study to be done, but that was 2 years ago, and I have not gotten an update since. Really, I have asked for updates, but I have not gotten one. So I would love to know and get to the bottom of this as to what's going on with that intersection, what the possibility of moving that project forward would be, and if we could have a discussion about it. So, welcome aboard.
Absolutely.
Going to give you a job right away. Don't worry. I'll find stuff for you to do.
Thank you. Council? Don't all speak at once.
Yeah, it's getting late, but I just want to add to finding what happened with that. Also, you could, welcome, put on your list about the comprehensive plan. The city did citywide meetings in different areas. Residents came out, spent a lot of time. We would like to have some type of status update on the comprehensive plan for the city of Salisbury. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Okay, couple things. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Rachel and her team for having a neighborhood walkabout, as she calls them. City employees come, it's open, it's a really wonderful feeling where people can kind of collaborate and get together and enjoy. I don't know how they make those hamburgers so good, but anyway, that's one thing I have on here. The other thing is another shout out to Travis Huff and his team, because he offered an update, an informal meeting for the public to share updates on the U.S., I have to give you this exact, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Brownfield Cleanup Grant for 317 to 325 Lake Street. And it was mentioned before, there's a plan in place. They are parceling out, the funding for getting things done there to accommodate and/or to eliminate by remediation the brownfield issue that has to be taken care of before any redevelopment can take place. Sheriff's Open House, I know that's not a city event, but everybody from all the counties were there this past weekend, and Mike Lewis was Sheriff Lewis was so thrilled to share his 60,000 square foot building. And the tour, in this day and age, I feel very safe knowing that we have a facility like that here that would be the central command post, so to speak, for the entire Eastern Shore if we ever had that need. And if we don't, we still have many uses for it for training. They have already hosted trainings for the state police and other municipalities around the state, so it's not just us, that type of thing. One other thing that I want you all to know about that will be absolutely, ask the mayor, ask our city administrator, ask our deputy here about the proposal that was given to the Eastern Shore delegation for the zoo. And for those of you that have not been to the zoo lately, you need to go. It's 70 years old. You can't see it from here, but I want you to find out about it online. They have a proposal. They're asking the legislator to keep the $2 million in the 27 capital budget for helping to fund the Interactive Imagination Center at the Salisbury Zoo. And it is awesome because right now I think it's 380,000 visitors last year. It's a free zoo. And they're hoping by starting this project and when it comes to fruition, having an additional 50,000. And so many, I think it's 39% come from out of the area. So that's quite significant for a little zoo that we have. They've got great plans. If you ever want to get pumped up about the zoo, you can talk to Chuck down there on any given day, and he will give you a tour. So they have a great, great option with that. Those of you that want to go to Orlando, they had the inaugural flight that came in this past week on the Breeze Airlines, and they were thrilled. They are booked pretty well into December. So if you don't want to go, well, you might not get to go soon. All right, the last thing, I left some little brochures over there if anyone's interested. Something that's pretty close to my heart is HOPE, which stands for Help and Outreach Point of Entry. We talk about Muir was talking, Mr. Boda, Director Boda was talking about the homeless, and we're talking about, here's home, things like that. There is an organization in town. It's in the basement of the Presbyterian Church, and it's an outreach, and what they offer is phenomenal. I mean, things that you and I take for granted, your license, your ID, your birth certificate, things like that. Those three things may hold you up from getting anything or getting anywhere. So they're instrumental in helping. They had a fall resource fair, and I brought some things over here. The thing that I found most interesting is that they have, some of the organizations have small cards. So people who don't have bags in lots of areas to put things, it's all on one card. So they brought it all together, and I'm just going to name a couple of people that were there at their resource fair. It was open to the public, so anyone could go. The Lions Club, Lower Shore Autism, Maryland Legal Aid, Adopt a Block, MAC, Care First, Maryland Department of Transportation, Priority Partners, United Way, Library, Chesapeake Healthcare, Tidal Health, Big Brothers, Shore Legal, Sign Up from Grace, Life Crisis. So things that people don't automatically, not everyone needs, but every single piece of a resource in the community seem to be represented. So anytime you can support HOPE, or as we all know with the housing, they're very instrumental in collaborating with the city. So that's it. Thank you.
There's a media specialist right there.
Now put it on Facebook, Sharon. Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to hook her up on
There
Facebook.
you go. Teach her Facebook. Yeah. No, but thank you, council. Thank you all.
Just updating.
Yes. A few things here. I know we've been not too long. We've got a lot done in these 2 hours. A few things here. I know we talked about a few different things here. Yes, the Wacomico Sheriff's Department. That was a wonderful tour. I'm glad that my cell phone worked in and around the building. That was good because I know it has it for. Yes, that was the part of the reason why we did it now and not last year. But nonetheless, it was great to see all the partners there. But again, the charge and kind of what I told Sheriff Lewis offline was now that the new department is closer to the heart and closer to Salisbury. Again, not to see it as a building of fear or anything like that, or it gets grand, but see it as a community building in a way that, again, using the Sheriff's Department and his deputies to provide a even better impact to, of course, Salisbury, the county seat. But again, their footprints in Salisbury provide that footprint and just make it definitely community building. So I can see it there. It was wonderful. Councilwoman DeShield got her snow cones, so I think she's good for the rest of the year. I do have another charge. They have, I think, a couple Ford Mustangs for the Sheriff's Department, and I would be happy to test drive one of those bad boys on the Salisbury bypass. So, or if we did do a tour through Salisbury, they're nice. They're black and they are nice individuals, nice cars. So, you guys know I'm a car guy, but no, it was very good, a very good event.
They had a good turnout.
Yes, excellent turnout. Talking about the Lot 10 and the thing, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but just like Councilwoman DeShield just said here for the zoo and the $2 million that we asking the delegates to keep in their funding, again, these $4 million, which I did a quick cursory Google search on, and it was posed at the time, but I know they lost their investment for the Hilton brand hotel. So if the low end of a Hilton brand hotel costs an estimated of $38.9 million on up to north of $162 million. Again, the franchise fees alone, this is just having the brand name tied to the Hilton brand, is $105,000. So again, when we talk about doing these things, that's my thought is putting a Hilton or a likewise flagship brand hotel in the heart of downtown, which it directly means better jobs. We're again, people who come here for tournaments and those things, they're literally going to Cambridge, Fruitland, and all those other cities. And in Ocean City. So this is a statement from the General Assembly, from DGS, which again, they were the initiating party for those funds. The General Assembly proscribes the use of each grant, and DGS ensures compliance with the authorizing statute. They further said from the Director of Communications, the Maryland General Assembly can amend the authorizing statute to either alter the purpose of the funds or deauthorize the grant altogether. So again, if the intent is to use the fund, which if that's the way, then we have to go to our General Assembly and then filter down. So if that is a thing. But again, we risk altering if we would go to them to change the use of the funds. That could impact the zoo funds that we are asking them to do and other funds from the fire department. So if that is the intent, we have to go to the General Assembly and come down. And if so, we will oblige, and we can just change the subrecipient agreement. But $4 million to $38 million, that is not. We're not building a hotel at $4 million.
Right.
Point blank. Period. Next. The JCs, they're having their their treat street on October 26th. Again, near to my heart. Being a former JC and president, they're keeping it in.
Are we doing a group table, or
oh, yeah, well,
or are we competing table?
Well, I'm going to get the table sponsors is $50, but if we want to do an area sponsor or what have you, so if council members want to join me, sure thing. But it's good. Again, they've seen north of 1,000 kids. It's completely free candy, and it's a wonderful event. All the mascots out there,
Where in-
right downtown, from 3 to 6 on that Sunday, October 26th.
Okay.
Yep.
When's the deadline to sign?
Okay, I got it. I'll forward you the email.
Yeah, please.
There's no deadline. I think they'll go right up into the end.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've got it too.
Excited to go to MML this week and again speak to other cities who are doing great things as well, seeing what we can take from them as far as ideas go. I think that is it. So until next time, we meet on at the end of the month, the 26th. 26th. Yep, 26th. So
No,
20.
October the 26th was.
Treat Street.
Yeah.
Oh, so 27th. Okay, 27th. All right. We're not meeting here on Sunday.
No.
Nonetheless, thank you all. This meeting is now adjourned.